The last time the world saw King Charles III was under the warm London sun, waving to crowds from the Buckingham Palace balcony during Trooping the Colour. He looked tired, sure, but no one imagined that just a day later, he would vanish from public view entirely. No photos, no statements, not even a quiet mention in the press. And that silence? It was deafening. Royal watchers, forums, and even morning news hosts danced around it, but nobody had answers. Meanwhile, inside the palace walls, something much darker was brewing. While the nation waited, confused and on edge, Queen Consort Camila was already moving chess pieces. Not out of grief, out of strategy, out of ambition. Because while King Charles lay in a medically induced coma, hidden away at Clarence House with only top-tier physicians at his side, Camilla wasn't by his bed. She was at Sandringham House, sitting at the head of a long table once reserved for the king himself. Around her were the future of the monarchy, Prince William, Princess Anne, and Catherine. But it was Camilla who spoke first. "We must be ready," she said. "Not we must pray or we must stay strong." Just cold, calculated readiness. What she proposed wasn't a wait and see. It was a dry run of a funeral. A televised memorial was drafted. A new leadership role rehearsed. And guess who she said should lead the tribute to the fallen monarch? Not William, not even Anne herself. Princess Anne's fury cracked through the stiff air. She reminded Camilla who she was, a consort, not an heir. A woman married into the family after years of scandal, not born into its bloodline. But Camilla didn't flinch. She claimed that Charles's heart was hers, that she had the right to speak for him, to speak first, to speak loudest. Prince William, overwhelmed by rage and heartbreak, stormed out of the room. Catherine followed, silent but shaken. Inside the meeting room, the tension thickened. Anne sat motionless, glaring. Camilla leaned back in her chair, eyes gleaming. "Proceed," she told her aide, confirming what many in that room already feared. This wasn't a discussion, it was a takeover. But that wasn't even the worst part, because while aides tried to preserve King Charles's dignity behind closed curtains, Camilla was preparing a performance. A media team was assembled, lights were set up, a black dress was chosen, her makeup was flawless, her hair impeccable, and then she sat before the British flag, delivering a full funeral speech for a man who wasn't even dead. "Charles, my husband, our king," she said into the camera, voice thick with forced sorrow. But between takes, she smirked. She demanded retakes. She insisted her speech highlight her own strength, her leadership, her presence, not his legacy, not his life. And as she rehearsed her rise, Charles fought to breathe just a few rooms away, unconscious and fragile. Nurses worked around the clock, holding on to any sign of improvement. But Camilla didn't flinch. She barely mentioned him. To her, the monarchy was already shifting, and she was at the helm. What she didn't expect, though, was that her secret performance wouldn't stay hidden for long, because someone was watching. And someone far closer to the king than Camilla would like, was about to uncover everything. And once that footage came to light, everything Camilla had built, every careful word, every polished frame, every whisper of a plan would begin to crumble beneath her. Because power might be rehearsed, but betrayal that always finds an audience. Kate had been walking the halls of Clarence House alone, her heels echoing softly on the marble floors as she made her way to the library. She needed a moment of quiet, maybe a distraction, anything to calm the dread that had been hanging over the family since Charles vanished from the public eye. But what she found in the library wasn't comfort, it was truth. Tucked inside one of the king's favorite books was a letter, worn and yellowing, written in Charles's unmistakable hand. "If I pass," the letter read, "William will lead the farewell. He is my legacy. He is my choice." No mention of Camilla, no shared duties, just a direct, heartfelt command from a father to his son. William was to oversee the funeral, the message, the tone. It was personal, clear, and now irrefutable. Kate stood frozen for a moment, eyes wide, heart thudding. Then something else pulled at her, something quieter, subtler. A light left on down the hallway. A door slightly ajar. Curiosity pulled her toward it, but what she found inside the dim communication suite turned that curiosity into horror. A computer still running, a folder open, and on screen, a paused video. Camilla, fully dressed in black, sitting upright before a flag, delivering a tribute speech meant for a dead king. Except the king wasn't dead. Kate clicked play, and there it was, Camilla's voice, carefully measured. Her posture regal, her words polished. Then the slip. "Start again from here," she instructed the cameraman, adjusting her expression like an actress chasing the perfect shot. "I need to appear more sorrowful. Add the part about me leading the family." Kate gasped, covering her mouth. She watched as Camilla ran through take after take. Not once did she stumble or cry. There were no breaks, no pauses for grief. It was all performance. It was power in motion. And Kate knew instantly that this wasn't a misunderstanding, it was a plan. She quickly recorded the footage using her phone, heart racing, hands shaking. Then she ran out the door, down the corridor, past portraits of kings and queens who had faced wars and scandals, now bearing silent witness to this betrayal. She drove straight to Sandringham, where William was buried in royal briefings and worried calls. When she burst into his room, her face was streaked with tears. "She recorded it, Will," she choked out. "She already recorded the eulogy. She wore black, sat in front of the flag, and she smirked. She smirked while talking about leading the family." William listened in stunned silence as Kate showed him both the video and the letter. His expression hardened, jaw clenched. His father had chosen him, not Camilla. And now, this wasn't just ambition. It was a betrayal dressed as mourning. "We're confronting her," William said, his voice low and firm. "Tonight." At the family dinner table, hours later, Camilla sat at the head, Charles' seat, her presence bold, her wine glass full. She smiled lightly and made a toast to unity. But William didn't wait for dessert. He stood, voice shaking but sharp. "You filmed a eulogy while my father was still breathing," he said. "You wore black while he was in a coma. You smirked, Camilla. You rehearsed for a spotlight that wasn't yours to claim." Camilla's glass clinked against the plate as she tried to respond, but Kate cut in, her voice laced with emotion. "You treated his illness like a dress rehearsal. Not once did you mention love, only control. And we have the proof." William pulled out the phone, pressed play, and in that silent room, Camilla's mask cracked. For the first time, visibly, because now the whole family saw what she'd been preparing. And it wasn't grief, it was a coronation. Camilla sat frozen in her chair, her face pale, her lips pressed into a tight line as the video played out in front of the royal family. The smirk, the directorial tone, the quiet glee in her voice, it was all there. No edits, no context to twist. Just the raw footage of a woman preparing for power while her husband still fought for breath. Princess Anne's chair scraped sharply against the polished floor as she stood, trembling with rage. "You've betrayed my brother," she said, her voice breaking. "You filmed a tribute to a man not yet dead and made it about yourself. You don't love this family. You love control." Camilla tried to respond, but the words caught in her throat. Her eyes darted around the table, but no ally came to her defense. Not even the A's she had once commanded with clipped instructions and veiled threats. William didn't say another word. He simply placed his father's handwritten letter beside the empty wine glass near Camilla's plate. She glanced down, recognizing the handwriting instantly. Her breath hitched. Charles had been clear. William was to oversee everything. His words couldn't be denied. And now she had nothing left to hide behind. Later that evening, a private emergency session of the Privy Council was called at Buckingham Palace. William stood at the head of the table, surrounded by senior advisors, government liaisons, and members of the royal staff. With the letter in hand and the damning video submitted as evidence, he proposed a formal motion. Going forward, no public statements would be made by Camilla without written approval from the heir or the council. The Queen Consort would retain her ceremonial title, but her authority to speak on behalf of the monarchy was